Hi everyone, this is Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. Well, I did it. I finally finished the third in my boho series, and this one has proven to be quite the chunky one too. Most people call them chunky monkeys, but I'm calling this one my chunky duck. It's really squishy and has about a 2.5 inch spine, I would say. So this one I put a sari silk ribbon for the closure, and that is loose. And like the other ones that I made, I've got some sari trim, and this is a really delicate linen, and some cheesecloth. And so these layers I stitch to the spine and then use them to wrap around. So this is a wool carpet remnant, and it's got fringes on the edges from the carpet edge. Inside I stitched some cotton fabric to the covers, and we'll get started. Interjected a lot of botanicals and things in this journal as usual. And here I've got some ephemera. I imagine some ID cards for this owner. Little cluster up there, and this is an old music sheet. Here I made a little journaling card with a pocket in the back, and this ribbon comes off, and this actually flips up, so you've got a fair amount of journaling space in that card. And this is straw paper that I backed on the back of it. This is vintage ledger paper. I've also used typewriter workbooks pages in here. This is an Edith Holden book page. Some coffee-dyed doilies. Here I created a couple of journaling tags. And this is my new favorite, one of my new favorites. I got it in an antique mall recently, and it's got a really nice delicate edge to it. This page, I created a belly band with a piece of sari trim, and this is some Italian script from one of TaylorMade Journal's digitals, and then just backed it with a wallpaper image. In this pocket, I put on a little metal clip, and this just opens up for some journaling space on the back. This is another TaylorMade Journal image. Here I used an envelope that I received in the mail. It had a nice large window on it, so I decided to make I actually cut it off a little bit smaller than it was. You can see that this is the window, and I put a nice image behind that and did a little collaging on here. And then inside, I tucked a couple of calling cards and this nice lady. And then this is a vintage postcard. I think it's German. On this page, I tried to do a bunch of layering. I tried paper, I tried lace, I tried fabric, and nothing sat right with me, and I decided less is more because I just couldn't bear to cover up this really nice weave on that fabric. So I just left it. There I created a journaling card from an old postcard, and I added an unused stamp from France, which I thought was really pretty. Here I did a little stenciling and stitched on a piece of lace. And this is a page from a botanical book. Here I have 3 photos, and then just back those with some decorative paper. Garment tag, and this is an old German book page from 1914. Now in this pocket I just did a little basic stitching on there and added some music paper. Here I used some instructions that are from a sewing pattern, and then I just adhered a ruffle, and that's sari trim as well. On this page I clipped some fabrics and trims, and then this is I think it's from an old catalog. This is a vintage, from a vintage ledger book. Here I created a cluster with some paper and fabric and lace. and a full button. This old German book page is really neat because there's a piece of string on there and some old tape, and I just left that all on. And I did Mod Podge that down to a piece of paper to give it more strength. On this side, I've got fabric and a vellum pocket, and then I have this little tag in there. This is a map that I punched on the top, shorthand page. This is some of my coffee dyed paper. In the center here, I added a sampler and just did some of my own stitching on there. And then I reinforced that on the back side with some pieces of paper. In this pocket, I have a journaling card. This is a piece of vintage wallpaper that I have. This is a copy of an old love letter from 1926. Some more sari trim on the edge of this ledger page. And on this side, I created a tall pocket, added a embellished paper clip, and here I've got a button card with a little bit of wool thread on there, and then this is a page from an old catalog. This is a photo of a nice looking lady, and I created some room to journal on the back. And this pocket is just made from straw paper and an image. I don't remember what digital kit that came from. Here I created a little tuck spot with some linen, a butterfly, and then I added a vintage tea card. I like the owl. Cluster again on this page. Here I've got a tuck spot with some full, looks like fabric and trim. And this is a copy of a wallpaper panel. And I just added a little bow at the top. Here I created a belly band and added a journaling card in there with some writing space on the back. And it's actually a double. You could tuck something behind the back as well. Some grid paper. This is another tailor-made journal image of wallpaper. I can't remember what kit that is. It's 1 or 2. I punched the bottom of that and then put some faux lace. This is a kit of mine. Added some real lace and a button, a real button. Here I created a little tuck spot and got an image of a button card. Here I created a tuck spot with a linen image. And this is, I believe this is from Ruby and Pearl. I like those images. If you have any questions about any of the images or any of the materials, ephemera that I use in any of my journals, just shoot me a question down below because I use such a mix of things. It's kind of hard to keep track sometimes of who I all use. This is a botanical book page. Here I created a floating pocket and created this little journaling card. And again, I backed it with a unused stamp from France. Created this journaling card with some stitching on there. And then this is actually some wallpaper from a wallpaper kit of mine. And then there's room to journal on the back. Here I created a little pocket, and this just opens for some journaling space. Here I created a belly band with these really pretty bright flowers. And in there I tucked a couple of journaling cards that I created. And then they're backed with coffee dyed paper. Here's a little pocket with a journaling card in as well. A couple of tags on this page. This is vintage wallpaper on the outside and then a German book page layered in between. And then I just stitched that all together. Added some grommets on the top. Here I created a belly band with this pretty piece of sari trim. And then in there I've got a couple of tags. And then I just put some sari trim on there. Here's a belly band with the tag I made from a piece of, this is a digital, lace digital, and then backed it with an image and a tag. And on this side, again, I've got a piece from an old, I believe it's an English catalog. This is also a piece of vintage wallpaper. On this page, I used an advertising piece for thread, and what I did was just cut some slits on each side and wound the thread in there. And then here I created a faux envelope, so there's journaling space in there. And pretty butterflies. On this side, I created an envelope with some sewing advertising on it, and inside there I put 3 little pieces of tape measure, and these are paper, but I printed them on linen paper, so they feel kind of like the old cloth tape measures that we used to have, or still do have. Here I clipped on an old or vintage envelope that I have, and I embossed that. It's from 1962, and the original letters in there. It's very, I think it's onion skin or something like that. Tissue. It's very tissue papery. So I thought that was kind of neat. Here's images of those pretty owls. Here I added some linen, and on this side I created a crisscross kind of a pocket or a place to hold ephemera, and on there I put, this is a punch out circle, and then I added a button with a little bit of bling on there. And here I've got 2 journaling cards. And on the backs of these, I added some piano paper. And I backed it with craft paper. And then did some stenciling on that. And it just gave it a little more heft and strength. So this is this side. And on the back of that one. In the center of this signature, I added a specimen card that I made, and these flowers are from my yard. That's 2-sided. And then here is a vintage postcard with a little note on there. Here I've added some sari trim and music paper that I stitched onto the page, and to kind of keep it all together, I just put a little pin on the bottom with some buttons. And that flips up for some journaling space underneath. I thought these are pretty good looking birds for buzzards. Common buzzard and rough-legged buzzard. Here I created a little skinny, narrow belly band from a ruffle. And in there I added some recipe cards. I think they're old family recipes, at least they look like it. Lemon pudding, sponge cake, and pickled walnuts. Wish my handwriting was this beautiful. I would write out recipes too. Here I've added a little pocket and a couple of journaling cards. An old school book page. And here I clipped, this is a page from a seed catalog, I believe, and it's got some lace trim on there, paper, and room to journal on the back. And then this is a page from an old French notebook. I think it was a school notebook. I haven't seen any years on these. I don't know how old they are. And that brings us to the end of the journal. So I will be on to some other subject matters. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I really enjoyed doing these boho journals. They're just so much fun, and because of the type of cover, I could stuff them full and not worry that they would be gaping open too much. So that part I really enjoyed as well. So thank you for coming along with me today, and until next time, bye-bye.